After the massively disappointing box office numbers for Megan 2.0, Blumhouse was probably feeling pretty sad, pretty down in the dumps. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if you saw a few people over at the office doing the heads down Charlie Brown, really sad about the whole situation. But don't worry, Blumhouse churns out like 10 movies a year, so they're bound to have another hit on their hands, and it turns out they didn't have to wait long for one to show up. Because another sequel hit this year, one that grabbered people's attention a little bit more than Megan did, and that's Black Phone 2, The Grabbening. That's not the title. And these numbers are sure to put even a smile on old Charlie Brown's sad face. I have no idea why I'm doing a Peanuts reference, but let's talk about the numbers. I recently did 2 videos talking about movies that are absolutely bombing at the box office: The Kiss of the Spider Woman and The Smashing Machine. Not a smashing hit. If you want to hear me talk about those videos, feel free to subscribe to the show, Adam Does Movies, on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. That way you get all the movie reviews, the movie news, and I'm going to be covering Tron Ares next, and that's also not a Cinderella story in the making. But let's get into Black Phone 2. What's going on? In order to really talk about the success of the second film, though, we need to go where it all began. All the way back to 2022. With a film titled Black Phone, a quaint film set in the late 70s, couple kid protagonists, an evil dude known as the Grabber, who's not on camera very often, but he makes himself known, just sitting kind of sinisterly in a chair. With the quaint $18 million budget, this bad boy managed $161.4 million. Blumhouse just bloomed itself looking at these numbers. That's a lot of coin. Naturally, they need to milk it out for at least 8 more movies. We'll see. We have 2 so far, but I have a hard time believing they're not going to push this thing until it's dead in the ground. I mean, the Grabber was dead in the ground after the first film, so how do you bring him back? You ghost him. You Freddy Krueger his ass. And that's what they did, and audiences ran to the theaters for it. The first film's opening weekend numbers were $35.8 million. Let's contrast with the sequel. It's looking really good. Number 1 at the box office, $42 million, shot past the first one's entry in the first weekend. And if we are to believe those numbers will stay consistent with the first, yeah, you're looking more like $200 million by the time this wraps up at the theaters. Granted, bad word of mouth can definitely hurt. However, the critics are giving this a fresh score at 72% on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm one of them. I enjoyed the sequel, thought it was completely unnecessary. I liked the route they went. I loved the theme. I loved the atmosphere. I liked the focus on the sister this time, giving both siblings a chance to shine in the films. I did have issues, of course, with it. Felt a little too long. Didn't like that the weather conditions had virtually nothing to do with the plot, seeing as no one is ever cold in this entire film, even after being dunked underwater. But small gripes aside, the movie worked, and I'm actually excited for where the franchise could go in the future. The first one is more favorably received by critics and audiences at around 81% by critics, 88% by audiences. In contrast, second film is 85, I think. I mean, we're talking just a few percentage points. So people are clearly still enjoying this movie. Potentially helping matters is we're coming up to Halloween. October is scary season, so this thing's gonna have legs for a few more weeks. And the only competition is Shelby Oaks by a first-time director, used to be a critic, Chris Stuckman. It's a smaller scale film in terms of setting, in terms of budget, and it's also the first of its kind. It's not a sequel, so it's automatically going to be less interesting to the masses as opposed to Black Phone 2. I don't think it's a secret that this movie worked because it went all in on the supernatural side. People like to be scared, as opposed to Megan, which turned the character into an action punchline. I still can't fathom what they were thinking when they came up with that. Blumhouse could have easily expanded the horror side of Megan. Hell, they still could have easily gone the anti-hero route with the character. I don't think that was the problem. It was turning her into a spy. It was making it so silly and light in the trailers. As for whether or not we're gonna see a Black Phone 3, I think it's pretty obvious we will. The director is being coy. He said he doesn't have any plans yet. Ethan Hawke, aka The Grabber, is down for playing the character again. It's gonna happen, and I wouldn't be surprised if Blumhouse fast tracks it for 2027. And there you have it, the news on Black Phone 2. It's crushing it. Let me know if you saw the movie in the comments below. Please think of liking the video if you in fact like it. I think it helps with the engagement or the algorithm or whatever the AI is looking for in this topsy-turvy world. Also, stay tuned because I'm gonna have an Ares update on what Disney's cooking over there, or maybe what they're burning with the Tron franchise. The whole Tronology that we have right now is probably all we're gonna have in the future. I'll let you know. Hopefully I see you next time. Take care. Oh, wow, you're still here. Well, since I have you, maybe think about jumping by the old merch store, Adam Does Movies, and pick up one of these Adam Does Movies Halloween tees. It's got Jason on the cover there on the logo, a little Friday the 13th inspiration in time for the holidays. On top of that, maybe think about becoming a Patreon at patreon.com/Adam Does Movies to really help support this one-man band. And that way I can afford to actually put out some candy this year for the trick-or-treaters and not just an empty pumpkin with a sign that says "Take one only." Implying that some fat little crap took all of them and left right away. Okay, that's all I got. Take care.